Hello, my name is Kate Wexell and I'm a member of Girl Scout Troop 641. This video is a production created for my Girl Scout Gold Award entitled Project Pollinator. If you'd like to learn more about my project and review educational infographics, games, and articles focusing on the conservation of native bees in North America, please view my website at projectpollinator76607682.wordpress.com. The visuals used in this video today are also part of a PowerPoint presentation that I have used in front of audiences to discuss this topic, and it is available for use on my website under the Materials tab. Anyway, today I will be discussing the importance of native bees. I will start off by asking you a few questions. From wherever you're watching this video, raise your hand if you've eaten any of the following foods: kiwis, zucchinis, pumpkins, watermelons, blackberries, blueberries, cucumbers, almonds, peaches, apples, squash. Now, what if these were all gone? And why would they be gone, might you ask? Well, every single one of these fruits and vegetables rely heavily on pollination from North American native bees to grow. Without bees, many of these foods would disappear. But that's silly. Why would bees disappear? Well, actually, there's been an ongoing bee crisis for about 50 years now that's become prevalent in the past decade as it's been popularized in the media. Many bee populations have been decreasing significantly. And why is this important? Well, during wintertime, about 30 to 70% of all bees die. This is simply because of their short lifespans, and many of them can't survive the harsh winter. Unfortunately, the rates have been much higher during recent years. This leads to a variety of outcomes for humans. Bees provide pollination for 80% of cultivated plants and contribute over $200 billion to the global agricultural economy and $15 billion to the American economy. This means that 1 out of every 3 bites of food is provided by bees, so how scary would it be if they were gone? Although humanity would survive, it would lead to lower food quality, more GMOs, and the loss of many fruits and vegetables that even surpass the list from earlier. You can look up comprehensive lists of every plant that relies on bees, and it is alarming. So, what's killing the bees? I've talked to several professors of entomology about the ongoing dilemma, and they came to a consensus about 3 factors that are destroying the bee population: the varroa mite, pesticides, and habitat destruction. Many people don't realize this. There were several articles that were published in popular magazines in the United States and the UK that claimed that colony collapse disorder is killing bee populations. That simply isn't true. Just as a refresher, colony collapse disorder is when an entire bee colony is just discovered to have disappeared. While this isn't understood yet by scientists and is unfortunate for beekeepers with the rising prices of bees, colony collapse disorder actually means that bees have not died, as there would be evidence of their bodies if that were the case. Instead, the biggest killer of bees is the varroa mite. This mite is a parasite that came to the United States from Asia in the 1980s. It quickly sweeps over bee colonies and infects them. Within the first 2 years of its introduction, over 90% of bees in California had died. This is because the parasite actually infects the brood cells in a beehive. After eggs are laid by the queen bee, they are sealed off with the mite trapped inside. They will then eat the bees that emerge from their eggs, crawl back out of the cell, and attach onto adult bees to ride to their next target. Unfortunately, while there are ways to prevent varroa mite infections, these solutions usually involve significantly disturbing the colony. The other 2 killers of bees go hand in hand. With the rise of large-scale agriculture, many farming practices aren't conducive to the existence of bees. The expansion of land for livestock and agriculture removes many places like woodland areas or meadows that would have been a habitat for bees and reduces them to flat farmland. Along with that, many farmers use pesticides on their crops to mitigate the spread of pests and weeds. One pesticide that is especially harmful to bees is called neonicotinoids, which do not kill bees but weaken their immune system so they are more susceptible to harm and disrupts their foraging abilities, therefore impairing their ability to find food. So, what is the solution? Honestly, there's no way to reverse the damage that has been done, which has been even admitted by professionals who study bees. And there's no one solution either. On a large scale, serious work would have to be done by government officials and by those in the agricultural industry. Several German studies have suggested that if more farmers practiced crop rotation, this would help. Others have suggested placing flowering strips in their fields that would attract pollinators, provide them with a habitat, and help to pollinate their crops. One study even suggested that if power line companies were to change their maintenance procedures, this could provide a habitat for native bees. Right now, if you see power line strips, they're all nicely mowed and sprayed with pesticides. Well, what if they weren't? What if these spaces were allowed to grow different plants? The study suggests that just letting these areas grow free would allot more acres for bees than the size of any national park. And regarding pesticides, in the European Union, they have already banned neonicotinoids, and if similar legislation were introduced in the United States, this might help too. So, what you can do as an individual is vote for people who are willing to support environmental changes. And even if you aren't certain about going that route, you can still do things at home. Within your own space, don't use pesticides in your garden. Plant more flowers in your yard. Bees are attracted to specific colors, and they especially like flowers like mint, marigold, peonies, pansies, and sunflowers, to name a few. You can also build your own habitats for bees. If you go online or visit my website and look up how to build a DIY bee house, you can find all sorts of cute contraptions to place in your yard. Then you will have created an environment for dozens of bees to live in. And the most important thing you can do is tell others about this crisis. There was actually a study done by the University of Illinois about coverage of the bee crisis in the media, and they discovered that people aren't talking enough about this. So tell your parents, family, friends, teachers, and anybody you know about the bee crisis and what they can do to help. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please check out my other videos and view my website. Well, until next time.